Finish him.
Welcome to Hitman Boxing. Hit that like and subscribe button. Apparently, Bob Arum is looking to match Terence Crawford up with Manny Pacquiao in June or July of this year. Now, there's a couple of reasons why this is laughable in my opinion. The first being, once upon a time, Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford were stablemates, and there was no sense of urgency to get Manny Pacquiao in the ring with Terence Crawford for the WBA title, I believe Pacquiao held at the time. Instead, they put Manny Pacquiao in the ring with old dude from, where is he from? Australia, New Zealand. I can't remember the guy. Jeff Horn, my bad. I apologize. Jeff Horn. So they matched Pacquiao with Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn ended up beating the living shit out of Manny Pacquiao. I thought Manny Pacquiao won the fight, but you know, a lot of people feel Pacquiao lost, but whatever, right? Pacquiao lost the fight to Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn was then anointed TBE. He had another interim fight, and then he fought Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford beat the living dog shit out of him. But that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the fact that while Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford were on the same side of the street, as you guys like to call it, they're both at top rank. There was never any sense of urgency to match either of these fighters up. And there was no... Terence Crawford was not vocal about this at all. Bob Arum seemed to not want to get his former cash cow, Manny Pacquiao, in the ring with his up-and-coming killer, Terence Crawford. You know, he didn't want that smoke for Pacquiao at the time, so he didn't really push the envelope. Pacquiao didn't seem to want the fight either. There were reports that he said he wanted $30 million to fight Terence Crawford, which I think could potentially be true because, you know, he knew what Terence Crawford was about. Terence Crawford wasn't yet in the welterweight division, but, you know, Terence Crawford, even though he doesn't have a great resume, he's got great potential, right? And we know that he could potentially give a lot of these guys that work. So what I'm trying to figure out is why now that Manny Pacquiao is no longer with Top Rank, why you feel the need to try to make that matchup happen when you could have been already did this, right? You know, a couple fighters said recently that if they want the fight to happen, they'll make the fight, right? Terence Crawford, again, doesn't like to talk to anybody, doesn't like to voice his opinion, doesn't like to really call these fighters out or show up at fights. But when they were on the same team, he could have lobbied for that fight. He could have been at Pacquiao's fights. He could have followed Pacquiao around and could have got that fight. But now there's absolutely no way that you're getting a fight with Manny Pacquiao because Manny Pacquiao just has way too many options right now. Way too many easier opponents that he could potentially fight. You know, Manny Pacquiao picked Keith Thurman for a very specific reason. And I've never been a Keith Thurman fan or Keith Thurman lobbyer, but he picked Keith Thurman because Keith Thurman was coming off of injuries. Keith Thurman lost sight of what really mattered, and that was boxing. Keith Thurman, up to the lead up to that fight, was talking so much trash. I actually believe that he was going to beat Manny Pacquiao, but Manny Pacquiao brought that nigga back down to earth, to put it bluntly. Now, when it comes to Terence Crawford, do I think Manny Pacquiao wants to fight him? No. He never wanted to fight him. Otherwise, they would have fought over at Top Rank. It was a logical fight to make over there. You know, it was kind of like a passing of the torch from Manny Pacquiao to Terence Crawford. And Bob Arum failed in getting that fight done. So what makes you think that he's going to make this fight now when Pacquiao's not even with Top Rank? It's not going to happen. Okay? Manny Pacquiao is going to potentially fight Danny Garcia. You know, Errol Spence was recently in a car crash, so I'm probably sure he sees some weakness in him, so he might fight him, or he might fight the winner of Jesse Vargas and Mikey Garcia. So Manny Pacquiao has options, and there's no need for him to go over the Top Rank and get his ass beat. There's no incentive for him to do that. Because he fights Terence Crawford, it just might be over for him. Or I could be wrong, and Manny Pacquiao could show us that he still has, you know, some gas in the tank. and he could beat the brakes off of Terence Crawford. But I just don't see that happening. Now next, Bob Arum says that he would potentially match Terence Crawford up with Kell Brook. Now Kell Brook has been begging for this fight for the better part of a year. What has Kell Brook done since the Errol Spence fight? Absolutely nothing. He moved up to 154, avoided all the champions there. And now he's saying he can squeeze into 147 and wants to fight Terence Crawford. Why is this a good fight for Terence Crawford? Because Terence Crawford needs to fight someone of note. Yes, Kell Brook has had a couple of losses, but if he fights Kell Brook, then we can kind of measure their performances, right? We can look, here's Errol Spence, who fought Kell Brook. He beat Kell Brook. But if Terence Crawford beats Kell Brook in more impressive fashion, then again, we can be like, oh, clearly Spence don't want it because I'm beating his leftovers worse than he beat him. Just like when Manny Pacquiao was fighting the same fighters that Floyd had already beat, and he was beating him and dominating him in much better fashion. You know, we all brought up the argument of, oh, well, he needs to fight Floyd. Now, we know the politics of the issue. I don't think it's a case of either of them not wanting to fight each other. Because to be perfectly honest with you, Terence Crawford is as quiet as a mouse. After his fights, he doesn't mention people by name. I could be wrong, but he's never really mentioned Spence like that. He just said he'll fight whoever next. My promoter take care of that. No, call them out by name. Give me Errol Spence next. That's who I want. That's what people need to hear come out your mouth. But if you letting Bob do your business, you're never going to get that fight. And I keep reading these articles about Terence Crawford. He's getting up in age and he's starting to lose a step. I don't think so. Terence Crawford still looks good to me, pause. He still looks like he's a good fighter to me. So I don't think it's a good argument to say that they're trying to age him out. But the bottom line here is you're not getting a Manny Pacquiao fight because Manny Pacquiao don't want to get his ass beat. You know, you need to go ahead and fight Kell Brook. All right? Go fight Kell Brook. You had an opportunity to fight Sean Porter. You know, people be giving excuses like, oh, well, they're friends and, you know, they don't need to fight each other and Sean Porter don't got a belt. Like, it doesn't matter. At this point, Terence Crawford needs to take what he can get. Because we weren't looking forward to his last fight where he got dropped. Remember he got dropped in his last fight? Remember that? He got dropped by some no-name. But I digress, man. If you're waiting for Bob Arum to make these fights for you, you'll probably be waiting forever. And Terence Crawford needs some of these higher profile names before it's too late, before he does start showing signs of rust. And then we have the conversation, he's fighting Spence, it's too late. You know, he's fighting these guys and it's too late. I don't want to hear that. You know, you should have left Top Rank when you had the chance, honestly. You should have just went over to PBC because that money not right over there at Top Rank. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about Bob Arum saying he's trying to make the Pacquiao fight for June and July. I think it's bullshit because, again, at one point they were stablemates and you couldn't make the fight then when it was easier. What makes you think that he's going to make it right now when all odds are against you and Pacquiao's got way more options now? Same thing with Kell Brook. They seem like they weren't even interested in fighting Kell Brook. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind seeing Terence Crawford versus Kell Brook just to see what Crawford does against Kell Brook. I mean, just to see if he beats him in more impressive fashion. Does he have a harder time, fighting him than Spence did? That's all I want to see, okay? So, Hitman Boxing, drop a comment, like the video, subscribe. I'm out.